Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel. So I want to talk about Armoured Clash and how the law is represented in the rulebook. And seeing as the full rulebook isn't quite available at the moment, which is a shame, can't wait for that to come free, but it will do. I think it will come free after another couple of factions, because, it's quite limited at the moment with the two factions, the Crown and the Empire. And the rulebook is actually really cheap. And honestly, for the law alone, it's worth the £10. Absolutely, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It's a fantastic rulebook, especially if you're into the law. And the thing is, Warcradle, and what has really made me happy about this rulebook is Warcradle have not just gone down the narrative route with the law. There's a lot of technical stuff in there as well, such as there's blueprints for one of the Empire's tanks. There's the map of the world, which I was really happy to actually get a big fold-out version of for my wall. So there's lots of technical stuff and there's lots of narrative stuff, which makes the law of Armoured Clash, to me, far more immersive and shows a better way of world building than I've seen in a long time with any other game. Now, you could say that I'm obviously very biased towards Warcradle. I am a big fan, I'm not going to deny that. Though I am going to say that having this very technical stuff in there, like the politics and the boundary lines, and even a blueprint of one of the tanks, really does add a lot more to the lore than just story after story and description after description within a rulebook. And then they go one better. When they're talking about the lore itself, so I'm doing the Crown and the Empire because that's the ones that are available online at the moment. You get, at the start, you get your basic introduction of the Crown, and it's, some major events such as the War for Revolution, or the Great Rebellion, as the Crown would call it. I think that's a fantastic way of wording it, that the Crown sees it as a Great Rebellion, and obviously the Union sees it as a revolution. It's the two sides of the same story, and how they both envision it. So you get the basic storyline, nice little bit of artwork there. I think she looks kind of cool. And then you get an official report from the Alliance. Now, to me, this makes all the difference. This just adds so much context to your favourite faction that you wouldn't get in, I would say, any other game. I mean, you might get in with some historical, and I haven't seen anything like this really since, like, 3rd, 4th edition of 40k. Having this different point of view of your favourite faction from a completely different faction, someone they're fighting, really adds more to it, because when you go through the different units and you see, basically how brave they are and stuff like that, all written on all written from the point of view from the Crown, such as the rifle platoon here, it's nice to see, because it's all nice propaganda, very, very prim, proper, to get you excited about the lore. But then, when you go and read a report about the Crown from the Alliance, and how, it's like different units and stuff like that, it adds this extra level of depth to it, and it's just something that's astounding. If this was just a one-off, I would have just said, okay, they did the Crown lore very well by adding the Alliance point of view. So, if we look at the Empire, which is another lovely faction, and I'm really tempted to do an Empire army now, even though, like, I have this 2-player starter set, well, introductory set, and I'm tempted just to do it now reading the lore. So you have the Empire, and it talks about the Celestian Dream. It's all very prim and proper, like I said. It's all about how good the Empire are and how they see themselves, which is a great thing in itself, because, you want to hear good things about your favourite faction, of course, and that's what gets us into our favourite factions and why we enjoy them. And so, but when you go next, it's the Imperium that are actually giving you the more information on the Empire. Now, there's not much, I don't think there's many borders between the Empire and the Imperium. Unlike the Alliance and the Crown, they have loads of borders to each other. The Empire and the Imperium don't really have that many borders, but this means this point of view could be seen as far more distant and less reliable than the Alliance one. Or you could say it's more reliable because they've had to take more time and more time and effort to make this report. And it's in so many of these. Like I said, the fact that they've done this narrative lore, as you can see with the start, and obviously with the different units, you'll see this as well. And the story of the Battle of Singapore is fantastic. I will be definitely doing that sometime this week. I'm just stretching this out now. I want to continue this dystopian age stuff because what they're doing right now is beyond fantastic. It's just one of those things that I think they know what they're doing, and they've got their mindset on this setting, and they know exactly what they're doing with it. They have no ifs or buts. Everything is from their imagination, and they are coming from it from a point of love. And nothing proves this more than when you're reading about your favourite faction and you get a report from an opposing faction. This to me is absolutely brilliant. It has this level of depth and immersion because you can now read someone else's point of view for your favourite faction. And I can't complain about this. In the rulebook, like I said, there's a blueprint for the tank. There's the world map. There's loads of other technical stuff about your faction which you don't see in any other game. I love the technical stuff. I love seeing how things are made and how they work. I like to see how politics happen and different things like that. And when they talk about the Celestian Dream, where no one can lie except Burst and Carpathian, apparently, well, with communicating within the Celestian Dream, but he can. It has a bit of mystery, but we know how the emperors of the empire talk to each other and how they maintain a peace with this inability to lie, and how that was circumvented to cause the Battle of Singapore. And just stuff like that. They add so much and so little twists on how things can happen but can also be broken and stuff like this. They can make promises that they have to keep because they cannot lie. But how did the Battle of Singapore happen? Well, he didn't lie. I'm not going to say who it is, but he found a way around it to start the battle. And this is what makes it really interesting, because they found a way of making a game and the lore to really be more interesting for everyone, to be far more in-depth, far more narratively driven and technically driven. This game is for the narrative players. This game is for people who want to tell stories. And they are showing this throughout the entire rulebook, and I love it. I really do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this very short video, well, shorter than usual anyway, and I'll see you all in the next one, which will be on Monday, and I hope you have a good day. But yes, world building done right. They know what they're doing. If you wish to actually get some Armored Clash stuff, don't forget to check Wayland Games down below for free delivery after £20. They have all of it there at the moment. Some of the stuff was on pre-order, and you might have to wait for the Union and all the other factions, but they're coming this year as well, which is really cool. But check out the link down below. There is also Forbidden Planet for comics, DVDs, mangas, etc. There's my merchandise, stickers, cups, t-shirts, what everyone else does. My comic, if you want to see Little Red Riding Hood go absolute ham on some cyborg werewolves. There is Skyforge, never forget Skyforge, good friend of mine. And finally, there is, Patreon, because business, bye-bye.